Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. I'm Tony Haggerty at the Haggerty10 on the Twitter handle, and I'm joined today by Aidan Macdonald at Aidan C. Macdonald on the Twitter handle. It's Wednesday, March the 29th. Aidan, how are you doing?
I'm good, Tony. How are you?
Yes, very well, very well. Good result for Scotland last night. We'll come to that. Celtic players playing in it, so all good. Now, as we always do every morning, we try and advise you to subscribe to the Celtic Way, and we thank everybody that's done that so far. And you're running along the bottom of the ticker tape, you can subscribe to the Celtic Way website and support top quality football journalism covering the club you love. Visit www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. Click the button. For those that have, thank you. We appreciate it greatly. And we also say thank you to our sponsors, SENECA. And as everybody knows by now, the Celtic Way Morning Briefing is now sponsored by SENECA Medical Group. And SENECA are the #1 hair transplant company in Europe, and they offer innovative hair restoration treatments. And you can find out more about SENECA via the links in the description of this video. Now, Aidan, Scotland beat Spain last night 2-0. Wonderful night at Hampden. And Celtic skipper Callum McGregor was involved in that. We do run out of things to say about Callum McGregor, to be perfectly honest, but he was absolutely excellent. And there was one particular run near the end, Aidan, just showed incredible energy. But yeah, it's what we've come to expect from Callum, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it was phenomenal, up against a pretty good Spanish midfield, players like Man City's Rodri, etc. And then McGregor just shone along with McTominay and the rest of the midfield. They were all very good, but Calmac definitely popped out for me. I thought he was excellent. Just sort of things that we've already described before about him. He's passing, he's moving, and that run at the end, like you mentioned, Tony, was absolutely superb. How he had that energy in the dying embers of a game that at times they were chasing the ball because Spain were sort of passing it across quite often, was phenomenal. And yeah, nothing but good things to say about him.
Robert Kelly comes in straight away and says Callum was instrumental. He sat in front of the defence and he closed the space that Spain would normally play into. He's the reason they were forced wide and they were nowhere near as effective out there. Agree with that, Aidan?
Yeah, I would say that's probably pretty well summed up there from the commenter. It did have an effect on how Spain wanted to play, and probably at times it did mean that they had to just keep the ball in front of the Scotland midfield rather than able to pass it in behind. Obviously, given they're a high quality team, there was still balls getting in behind, which the defence also dealt well with. But yeah, McGregor was phenomenal at both the defensive and attacking part of the game, which is what we've come to know from fixing in the number 6 position. But it was also, good to see him doing it on an international stage like that as well.
Regular contributor Pete McGee. Morning, Pete. Comes in and says, calm under pressure. Just sums up Calmac. He's different class. Again, we know that, Aidan. We watch him a lot, and Pete McGee knows that. It's no surprise, really, is it?
No, it wasn't. I mean, you've seen him in the Champions League performing at the highest level, and it was a performance like that last night. Just how he handled himself during the game, Tony, was phenomenal, and some of the sort of calmness under pressure, like the comment I just mentioned there, was getting pressed at times by the Spain attack. There was quite a few players around him. They really had to be careful because if he did give the ball away, it was sort of opening up to a potential attack, and you never had any doubt that he was going to make that correct pass, and his decision making for the whole match even was excellent.
Michael Duffin comes in, outstanding performance, and Kevin Ferrier, morning Kevin, another regular contributor. Even that run down the wing at the end, defenders tried to take him out and he was jumping over tackles, and Pete McGee comes in to remind the two of us, Aidan, that he knows a lot of things. But I don't doubt it, Pete. I don't doubt it at all. And Charlie McGarry coming in here and saying the irony of a Spanish player complaining about diving and time wasting. I think that was it Rodri's comments? It said that Scotland were rubbish. He said it was a rubbish way to go about their business, Aidan. I think the result says it all, so there you go. And for those of an older nature, another Celtic jar reference, Aidan, I'll say I was playing Mink DeVille Spanish Stroll last night, for those who are familiar with that. Yes, Aidan, go and Google that. Another Celtic Dar reference there for you. Mink DeVille, Spanish Stroll for Scotland. Rodri can say what he likes, but there you go. And Callum McGregor, instrumental in that, Aidan, which is great to see.
Yeah, it is really good to see. He's a player that Steve Clarke trusts. That's pretty apparent. He's a regular feature for the Scotland team, and I think Scotland did miss him when he sort of had his injury at the latter part of last year, and he wasn't involved. I think they were probably not as good a team without him. So yeah, he's phenomenal in that middle department. I don't know if he maybe feels he's maybe got a wee bit more freedom when he's playing for Scotland, given that he's not the captain. When he obviously he is for Celtic, I don't know if that plays a part at all. But regardless, yeah, he's putting on excellent performances at club and international level, and it gets hard every time he puts on a good performance, doesn't it? Because you don't want to repeat everything you've already said before, but you can't say anything but good things about Callum McGregor. So when you've been doing that all season at this point, it's hard not to sound at least a wee bit repetitive.
Lots of love coming in for Cal Mac, icing the vein, says Kaiser. Morning, Kaiser, another regular contributor. David Gillespie saying, great night, massive difference from Saturday. The place was bouncing. Cal Mac immense again. Kevin Ferrier also saying, just shows the energy that Ange Postecoglou puts into him. So everybody loving, and Michael Cairns agree that Cal Mac was absolutely superb. And Beach Boys coming in and says he's going to ask his granddad about that one, the Spanish Stroll Mink DeVille reference, I believe he's talking about there. But there you have it. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. It's great to take a major scalp internationally, Aidan, and you'll be doing a roundup of how the international Celt's done, and look out for that coming up in the newsletter. If you're a subscriber, you'll get that newsletter today, somewhere around 5 o'clock, isn't it, Aidan? But you'll be having a look at the guys that played and their minutes, that kind of stuff, goals, stuff like that, won't you?
Yeah, it's just going to be a sort of brief breakdown of how each player got on international duty, and as Tony mentioned, their minutes, goals, assists, bookings, how the teams got on, where they're sitting in their groups, etc. So yeah, that should be coming out at 5 o'clock if all things are going well.
Now, someone else who was a Celtic connection who played well last night, Aidan, was Kieran Tierney.
Kieran Tierney was phenomenal, as he usually is for Scotland, to be fair. And when he plays for Arsenal, I know he's not featured a lot this season. Zinchenko has also been phenomenal at Arsenal, so I think it's probably has been fair that he's maybe not had as much game time when you've got a player as good as that in front of you. But yeah, he was excellent, and I know everybody will point to the run for the second goal that Tierney put in, which is fair enough because it was a really world-class bit of play in my opinion, but he was very solid throughout, on that side, particularly in the first half. A lot of the ball was coming down that way, and his tackles were superb, his distribution under pressure, even just something like holding the ball so it just went out for a Scotland goal kick. Things like that are invaluable on a night like that when for large spells Scotland were under a lot of pressure. And yeah, Tierney, he's probably another one that you run out of good things to say about, Tony. He was excellent, and that run was just
yeah.
He's another one. Sometimes you don't know how he finds the energy, and it was actually maybe similar in a way to Callum McGregor, because he just kind of almost powered past the Spanish fullback, and yeah, it was excellent, and that deserved a goal at the end of it. So I was glad that McTominay scored, because that was a really, really good bit of play, as was McGregor's run later on. And yeah, Kieran Tierney, phenomenal player.
Yep, lots of love coming in for Kearney as well. Helen Feek saying Kieran was immensely effective, and Alan Wood saying Kieran Tierney needs a move away from Arsenal. Arteta's far too good to sit on the bench. Jerry R. Ross saying Kieran was brilliant, and more coming in. Under Scotland asking, do you think KT will ever come back to Celtic? I think he will, because he wants to. It's in his kind of forward planning that he wants to finish his career at Celtic. Just depends when, doesn't it? And Derek Crawford saying, morning Derek, another regular contributor, he'll move on from Arsenal because he's far too good to be sitting on the bench. Gusty O'Connor, another regular contributor, saying he should have stayed with us. So, but lots of people enthusing about Scotland last night. It's always good when Scotland get a result, but to claim a scalp like that, Aidan, Spain is excellent. And Kirsty O'Connor also talking about Cal Mac saying being the captain has definitely brought Callum McGregor out of his shell. So all positive for Scotland, Aidan, and also for the Celtic contingent that represent their country.
Yeah, it was. It was positive. I was lucky to be at the game last night, and the place was absolutely bouncing, and it did feel like a massive scalp for Scotland, and being 6 points clear after the first. Sorry, having taken 6 points from the first two games, I should say, but also being top of the group at the start of the campaign. That's a bit of rarity, isn't it, in recent years for Scotland? So it's good to enjoy that to an extent. And yeah, Steve Clarke, I think, got his tactics spot on last night. I agree with the previous commenter that said the weekend wasn't the best, even though they won. But last night was definitely an improvement, and Callum McGregor, Kieran Tierney were a massive part of that.
Now, look out for Aidan's newsletter coming out at 5 o'clock. We'll cover the rest of the Celts who were on international duty, the likes of Alistair Johnston, Mikey Johnston, Carol Starfelt, Sead Haksabanovic. Trying to think who else, Aidan, if I've missed anybody from that list.
Connor Hazard as well.
Connor Hazard as well, yes. And O, and you might have seen a clip from O, who scored a wonderful goal for South Korea, but it was unfortunately ruled offside, but it was a belter, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a phenomenal finish, Tony, the way he sort of, and he picked up the ball just in the box, sort of spun his man and then rifled it right in. It was a really high quality goal, and then he was going absolutely mental, as you would expect. He thinks he scored his first goal for his country, and he was away sort of running to celebrate, and then, yeah, they get chopped off. It was quite a harsh offside, I thought, to be honest.
Yes, it was.
It was pretty tight. It maybe was just right, but he wasn't clearly offside, and that is probably one of those ones that if there wasn't any VAR, it would have been. I don't think the referee or the linesman would have spotted it, but that's what happens. But yeah, that was just him showing his quality, and he seems to be his eye in for the goals, Tony, now, doesn't he?
He does indeed, yeah. If you check the website, I think we've put a watch on it, haven't we? I believe.
Yeah, I did a watch article on it last night from Twitter, so you can go on and see it.
You can go on and see it. Now, speaking of, Derek Crawford comes in and says Cal Mac has been very good, but I think under Ange Postecoglou he's gone on to a whole nother level, a top player. Now, speaking of players going on to other levels, Stuart Ross, the wonderful Stuart Ross, has written an analysis article, tactic article on Greg Taylor, and I'll put that into the comment section and you can read that. It's on the website. You can read that, guys. It's worth a read. It's always worth a read when Stuart Ross does his stuff, isn't it, Aidan? But he's saying that Greg Taylor is just tailor-made, if you excuse the pun, for Ange Ball, if you want to call it that, and he has come on leaps and bounds, and he bigs him up in this article. It's a really good article. If you've read it, Aidan, yourself, but yeah, he's always good value, Stuart Ross, and just goes through various, he uses stats bomb and tells you, just gives you a lot of education on basically Greg Taylor and what he does and what he provides for Celtic, but he kind of concludes that, yeah, he's the perfect player for Ange's system, considering the fact that he used to play in the midfield, Aidan.
Yeah, I think you can see that with the way Taylor plays. He was, as soon as the sort of inverted fullback role became a thing, he was very calm in terms of receiving the ball in the middle of the park. He had no qualms about going inside and making himself available for a pass or getting on the ball and having to make a killer pass himself. He sort of adapted really well, and the fact that he did feature in midfield at one point is probably a part of that. He's not always been used to just having to sit back and defend for 90 minutes and maybe not be on the ball outside or just shelling up the park, which has probably benefited him now that more than ever he's on the ball. Even though obviously under Neil Lennon, etc., he did still have a lot of the ball, but it was a different type role to what he's doing right now. But yeah, Greg Taylor, he's another one. I'm going to be repeating myself again, Tony, but he's another one that you're running out of good things to say about this season. He's probably another one that's in that sort of category for Player of the Year, the sort of award that seems to change every single week, or who's going to get it seems to change every single week. But yeah, he's a brilliant player, and Stuart's analysis is really good at breaking down how he is so effective for this team under Ange.
And it was Steve Clarke that kind of told everybody that he was carrying a niggle and an injury, and so it led to him pulling out the Scotland squad. So I just hope that over the international break he's had a chance to have a suitable rest and recover, and that he will be part of the team for Ross County on Sunday, Aidan.
Yeah, I think he will be. The fact that I know he did go off. Am I right in saying, did he go off in that Hibs game?
Yes.
I've taken a mind button, but in my head I was pretty sure that he had. And he did have a slight knock before that, or it was mentioned. I remember that I was at the game and I was watching it. He was out doing a wee bit of sort of extra warming up at half time before anybody else came out. So I did think there probably is something there. Then he went off. So assuming he is all right, fingers crossed. I know we'll, as we said before, Tony, we find out the true details at the Ange presser on Friday. You just hope for that everybody's okay, mate. That's what you hope for. But assuming he's shrugged that off, he will have hopefully had a good break. And because whether or not he would have been starting for Scotland, I don't know, but he obviously would have been away doing sort of high intensity training for 2 weeks, and I'm sure they're still working very hard at Lennoxtown, but it will be tailored, if you pardon the pun, to what's going on in the international break. So the fact that he hasn't been away and hopefully has been able to get an extended rest, we're really important, because he will be a vital player between now and the end of the season.
Yes, without a doubt. Definitely. I just hope, as you say, that he's recovered in time when he is available for Dingwall. Be good to see him back. Now, a couple of points here. Andrew Galea said, enjoyed the Aaron Moy article. Tony's very kind. Thanks very much. Derek Crawford also said the same. I'll put it in the comments section. It's on the website. You can read it if you haven't already. And I spoke to Danny Lennon, his former St Mirren manager. I spoke to Matt Smith, his former Australian teammate. And I spoke to a Huddersfield fan called John Pigeon, who's involved with the National Football Museum Memories Group down in Manchester. He's a Huddersfield fan. So I got the view of all three of them who spoke about Aaron Moy. And as I say, it's on the website. Just kind of we deep dive into Aaron Moy if you fancy a wee read of that. But thank you, Derek. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. Very kind. But it's on the website there. The link to it there if you want to read that. Some cracking insight into Aaron Moy from, as I say, Danny Lennon, his former St Mirren manager, his former teammate in Australia, Matt Smith, and just as a supporter. There you go. There's Pete McGee coming in, saying shameless self-aggrandizement. I was actually responding to Andrew and Derek saying they enjoyed the article, so I'll put it up. If you want, you can read it at your leisure feet. If you don't fancy it, no problem. There you go. Yeah, there you go. I mean, there you go, Aidan. I'm putting it up for the benefit of the viewers and contributors that haven't read it. Shameless self-aggrandizement. What do you say to that, Aidan?
Can't get away with anything, Tony. I've said
can't win, can you? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Someone also said that they're my age and they don't recognise the Mink DeVille Spanish stroll reference. I can't help it. I'm a certain age. You know what I mean? As I said, I'll need to get my. I know I'm old, Aidan, but the next topic, I'm not as old. I wasn't around at this time, but yesterday's newsletter contained a subject matter of Willie Maley, the first Celtic manager, and now next month there's a statue going up to Willie Maley in his hometown of Newry in County Down, his birthplace. They've raised enough funds to get a bronze statue of Willie Maley erected, and we did a newsletter yesterday saying listing all of his achievements. He was 43 years the manager of Celtic, unbelievable, and he won countless trophies, about 3 great Celtic teams, and it's, again, I'll put this in the comment section for you. Now, if you know your history, you'll know all about Willie Maley, Aidan.
Yeah, obviously one of the most kind of successful managers for Celtic ever, the longest serving manager as well. And it's a really good article breaking down what's happening, you know, with the statue, etc. So yeah, definitely give that a read if you get the chance.
Willie Maley was his name. You're always tempted to burst into song, aren't you? And when that's you need to rein it in at that stage when you say that. But yeah, now I mean he won countless trophies for Celtic. He built a team that won the first 6 in a row. Did the Celtic team that won the first it was a double back then with the League and Scottish Cup kind of domestic clean sweep, call it what you like. He played in the first ever Celtic match, 5-2 win over Rangers. He'd done many, many things. But at the end of the article, we list 2 quotes that I think Willie Maley is most famous for. And he said, Celtic Park, where a man is judged by his football alone. And he also said, it's not the creed nor his nationality that counts, it's the man himself. And Aidan, I'm pleased to say that those are two maxims that still ring true to this day and are still true to this day when you think about Glasgow Celtic. And Willie Maley said them way back in the midst of time, and it's excellent that those mantras are still prevalent to this day.
Yeah, definitely. It's sort of important philosophies to have for the football club, and I'm really glad as well that seems to have stayed true to that really since the days of Willie Maley. And yeah, once again, the article is well worth a read, guys, if you get the chance, and breaks down sort of key moments from him, key things he said, etc. So yep, get involved.
Correct. Well said, young Aidan. Excellent. And yeah, I wasn't around Aidan, sadly. You can't say to me that
I don't know, Tony, but I'm questioning that, to be honest. I'd need to see the stats.
I kind of talk about him as if I was around during his time, I've that uncanny knack and erring ability to wax lyrical about any kind of moment in time about Celtic, as if I was there. But I can assure you I wasn't. Now, I know there's having a wee flippant there, but one sad pool yesterday that emerged, Aidan, was Joey Dawson, who is sadly injured and he's out of action until 2024. He underwent surgery for a knee injury, and it's a pity because he's 19 and he's had 20 goals in 21 Lowland League matches this season, Aidan, and what a real blow. But he put an Instagram picture up and he said operation was successful and now the recovery starts back in the pitch in 2024. A real blow for the young kid. You don't like to see any footballer injured, but when you're a young teenager and starting to make your way at Celtic, he couldn't possibly do any more to say to Ange Postecoglou, here I am. He's made one appearance already against St Johnstone in 2021, but just what a bitter blow for the young man, and we wish him a speedy recovery, eh?
Yeah, it was a real shame to see that. He's obviously been on fire for the B team, like you were saying there, 20 goals, 21 World League games. He obviously got that double recently against Rangers, the match at Celtic Park. And he's been doing really well, and it's just that position being so strong at Celtic. When he sort of, that time when he put that double in, Jackie Marcus was still there. He's also moved on. O's came in, made a bit of an instant impact. Also, Kyogo's been one of the players of the season. There's been other individuals, Maida Abada, that have been chipping in with goals. So it's probably just been a wee bit. It was probably just a wee bit ahead in being able to get any more game time. But there could have been potentially an option if Celtic do touchwood win the league. And there's still a couple of games left. He might have featured. So the fact he's maybe missing out on that is a shame. He was also being linked in January for potential loan move. I think it was to Inverness. So that could have been something that maybe popped up in the summer. But obviously, if he's not going to be back till 2024, as he's saying, then he's going to miss out on that, which is a shame. But he looks a real promising talent, and hopefully we can get over his injury. He'll come back stronger for it.
Indeed, and we wish him all the best in that. Take care and get yourself better, Joey Dawson, and make sure you come back bigger and better than ever, and I'm sure he will. Lots of comments coming in for Willie Maley. Plunge McNugget saying Big Jock always gets a mention. Willie Maley should not be forgotten. Nope. And Dario Ross saying he's a song. We talk about Willie Maley, laughing there, but there you go.
I thought it was you and your Greg Taylor song you mentioned.
Well, still working on that. It's not the easiest.
It's the world's longest.
I'm a busy man. I've got other things in my mind. It's somewhere on the priority list. Jai M comes in and says, Mr. Maley's absolute epitome of Celtic, not only success but the quotes and morals is literally what the club's built on. Could make me cry with pride. Indeed. Don't dispute that. Other comments coming in about Northampton. Tim says his good pal lives in Newry. His dad's coming over for the day. That's the day the statue's unveiled. And P. O'Neill says no McGregor, no Lisbon Lions. There you go. There's some compliments of the highest order there, Aidan. But yeah, it's as you say, it's worth the reading. It's always worth remembering. And P. O'Neill come back in. Football is all about putting the ball in the net, and nobody better than James McGregor, Galgad's finest star. Willie Maley signed the legendary figure that is Jimmy McGregor, hence a legendary figure and Celtic's highest ever marksman. He's at the top of the list for goals scored. Incredible, over 500 goals for Celtic. Incredible stuff, Aidan. Can you envisage that or just imagine doing that for Celtic?
It's hard. It's hard to envisage that, even with the sort of brilliant players you've had at the club over the years. Larsons, etc. Just that sort of number is
It's mind-boggling, isn't it?
is phenomenal. And I know he was pretty much at Celtic his whole career, wasn't he, Tony? But
It was, yeah.
I know he famously could have went to Arsenal, but then he turned it down. But yeah, it's still, regardless of even at the club the whole career, those numbers are phenomenal. And I think I'm safe in saying you'll probably not see that again.
No, I don't. That's the thing. You'll never see that again. And he's part of Willie Maley's team. So yeah, I mean, as somebody said earlier, one of the commenters said, "What a history the club has," and it has. It's steeped in history and it's rich, and it does it. It's, as the song says, Aidan, it's enough to make your heart grow sad sometimes, isn't it? You just cry and you read about these legendary people and legendary players, managers that have been involved in the rich tapestry of the club. It does it. It makes your heart swell with pride.
Yeah, it does. It's really good when you sort of think about these things and go through them and remember the legends of the club and that. It's always important to do, and that's why it's really good that Willie Maley is getting sort of statue in his hometown, because it's important that you remember these things, and that'll be a sort of good shrine for fans if they, if they're over there going to see him, the locals, etc. So yep, no, all good stuff on this occasion, Tony.
And I've always, just as an aside, I've always felt that the Celtic supporters should sing a chorus and a verse of the John Thompson song. Just, it's a personal thing with me, and I just want to think it's a wonderful song, and I think it's a great link to the past. The Lions are remembered and Willie Maley's remembered, but John Thompson, who sadly died whilst playing in goal for Celtic in a Glasgow derby, the bravest of goalkeepers, and I've always felt that that would be a fitting tribute to John Thompson as well, just a wee chorus and a verse of the John Thompson song. It's quite a sad song, but I think it'd be a fitting way to remember him. Aidan, just that, I don't know, just could be the first minute for the number one, or possibly the year that he passed away. Do it then. And I always liked the John Thompson song, to be fair. So I was just my own. I would never dream of telling the Celtic supporters what to sing, but I just feel that it would be fitting 31st minute to sing a wee chorus and verse of the John Thompson song, because they do it for other players and members of Celtic's history down the line. So just something that I've always felt would be decent. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that could definitely be something that could probably be added to the Celtic
song. The repertoire, yes.
The repertoire, yeah. I do agree with you. I think that would be, like you say, it is quite a sad song.
Derek Crawford comes in, yeah. It's a sad song, yeah.
So I can understand maybe if some people would not always want that, because
melancholic.
You're at a game and you're getting the atmosphere going, but I think it would be a nice addition to
it. And Kevin Ferris says, lovely song, Tony Correct should be singing. And maybe that's why, Aidan, it's not sung, because it is quite a melancholic and sad song. But P. O'Neill on the slopes of Celtic Park, yeah, that's a lyric from the song indeed. And I just think these things are important. Peter Duffy says, keeps the history alive, which makes a club. I couldn't agree more. And well said, Tony. Great song. It's just a personal thing. It's not. I don't speak on behalf of anybody. I just speak on behalf of myself and give my views on certain things. And I get Glenn Daly sung the John Thompson song. Did he? Was it? I wasn't aware of that. It was. I think various people have attempted it over the years, haven't they? But yeah, I would just like to see the Celtic supporters. It's just my own thoughts on it. But there you go. Well, Aidan, half an hour we've took up with the briefing, Celtic Morning Briefing Live. Always an international week, you always get to like the middle of the second week, you think, oh, what we're going to talk about, but we've managed to do it again, young man. I think we'll continue the countdown to Dingwall tomorrow and Friday. Friday we'll obviously hear from Ange, and you'll give us an update on all the players returning from international duty and their availability or not. But looking forward to Sunday, Aidan, and say real football coming back, where we got a glimpse of real football last night with Scotland beating Spain. We enjoyed that, but yeah, everybody loves their club football fix, don't they?
Yeah, I do. I'm one of the people who does enjoy international football. You know, I go to the Scotland games, etc. But you do miss obviously the intensity of club football, the sort of everyday aspect of it, and it will be good to see it back on Sunday. You know, I'm saying this. We did survive a five-week World Cup break, Tony. So
We
kind
did.
of just under 2 weeks doesn't seem as long. Or obviously it's nowhere near as long as, fingers crossed, if Celtic do win the league, the break will be over the summer, because obviously there won't be Champions League qualifiers, hopefully. But yeah, it'll be good to see the team back on Sunday, no doubt about that.
Excellent. Well, I'll just draw everybody's attention to the ticker tape running along the bottom. Subscribe to the Celtic Way website and support top quality football journalism covering the club you love, all for the click of a button, guys. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. Thank you for all the comments today. Got lots of comments on various subjects. We tried to cover as many as we could. We thank you for that. We couldn't do it without you. Lovely interaction. I say it every day. Lots of regular contributors coming in, but we've built a wonderful wee community here. We feel safe here, don't we, Aidan? It's a safe haven for us. We enjoy it. We enjoy the banter. Even Pete McGee saying the self-aggrandizement. I love that kind of stuff. Excellent. Good knockabout banter there. But yes, thank you for that. We'll do it all again tomorrow. We also say thank you to our sponsors, SENECA Medical Group, and everybody knows the Celtic Way morning briefing is now sponsored by SENECA Medical Group, and SENECA are the #1 hair transplant company in Europe, and we offer innovative hair restoration treatments. And you can find out a lot more about SENECA via the links in the description of this video. All that remains for me to say is have a wonderful Wednesday. Aidan, thank you for your contribution.
Cheers,
excellent,
Tony.
first class. Pete McGee, he paid attention in English classes. Yeah, some of us did, some of us didn't, but there you go. Keep them coming, Pete. Love it, love it. But yeah, have a wonderful Wednesday, guys. See you tomorrow, hopefully, for a terrific Thursday. Club football's back on Sunday. Celtic travel to Dingwall to play Ross County. Hopefully, remain 9 points at least, clear at the top of the Premiership table as the countdown to the end of the season goes on. Cheers, Aidan. Top man. Take care.
Cheers, guys.